video on. Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, May 25th, 2022. Everyone, please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Dear Lord, thank you for giving us the opportunity to serve our city and our constituents. Please grant us the wisdom and the intelligence to do what's right by them and our city. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Item number 1, roll call. Mr. D. Perez?
Here.
Mr. Gamon is absent. Mr. Iglesias?
Here.
Mr. Jimenez? Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Casanova?
Here.
Mrs. Enriquez? Here. We have a quorum. Item number 2, approval of Planning and Zoning Board summary agenda of May 11th, 2022 as submitted.
Need a motion and a second, please?
Motion to approve. Second that motion.
Motion, Mr. Casanova, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Okay. Anyone that's going to speak in front of the board, please stand, raise your hand. Todos los que van a presentar el testamento, por favor, pónganse de pie, levanta la mano derecha. Do we have anyone in Zoom that's supposed to registered? No? Okay.
You affirm to tell the truth before this board.
Okay. Thank you. Let the record show that the answer was in the affirmative.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the City Council. The City Council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact a member of the City Clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the Building Department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio file, the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at its scheduled meeting of Tuesday, June 28th, 2022. Item number 3. Final decision to allow rear setback of 6.38 feet or 7.5 feet are required, and allow interior north side setback of 5 feet or 6 feet are required for an existing accessory building to be legalized. Property located at 675 East 8th Court, Hialeah Zones R1, One Family District. Applicant, Ercelio del Rio Jr.
Celio? Name and address, please.
Jennifer Barry, 675 East 8th Court, Hialeah, Florida, 33010.
Thank you. You'll read it into the record, and then we'll discuss your application. Question, are you,
I'm here for my husband because he just had a kidney transplant. so
okay,
he
so
can't-
you're co-owner of the, okay, that's, you're authorized to speak on behalf of
Yes.
Cecilio, right? Okay, thank you.
So the property in this application is located on the east side of East 8th Court between East 6th Street and East 8th Street. The applicant is before the city requesting an adjustment of the rear and side setbacks to be able to legalize a 127 square feet accessory building. The request is to allow 6.38 feet rear setback where 7.5 feet are required and 5 feet north side setback where 6 feet are required. The request could be approved with the condition that the accessory building is used exclusively for storage and its legalization gets completed within 180 days. Recommendation approved with this condition.
Thank you, Mrs. Storch. Do you understand the recommendation from the city planner?
No, not really.
Do you
Okay.
want me, do you need Spanish? Do you want
No,
me-
no, no,
okay.
English.
The recommendation is to approve it, but you, within 180 days, you have to legalize that room that was
Oh,
done
okay.
without permit. That is
Okay.
the condition.
I understand.
Okay,
Thank
and,
you.
and that is used exclusively for storage.
Yes.
So 6 months to legalize it and
Okay.
storage only.
Okay.
Okay.
So I come back here.
Wait.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Comments or questions? Anyone in the audience, comment or question on this item? Anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
With conditions, second that motion.
Thank you,
Motion,
sir, for your help.
motion, Mr. Iglesias, second, Mr. Casanova. Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you. Now, yours come back on the,
June 28th
June
at
28th.
7 p.m.
Okay.
Thank you.
you can tell he's refreshed. A nice little short vacation because you're on the ball.
Yeah.
Item number 4, final decision to allow rear setback of 0 feet where 20 feet are required for the construction of a new 2-story single-family home. Property located at 4247 West 7th Lane, Hialeah Zones R1, One Family District. Applicant, Jesus D. Rivero and Mayra Alvarez Diaz.
Jesus Rivero. Mayra Alvarez. Okay, or were the applicant contacted or?
Yeah, they knew they were supposed to be here.
Well, let's postpone this for next week. We need to table it.
Are they?
No,
No, there's no one. in-
we need to table it.
Well, this is carries a recommendation of denial, and I would like to,
Yeah, of course.
I would
yeah.
like for them to be present so we can discuss and possibly
I agree.
air out some discrepancies.
That's good.
Okay, so can we get a table?
Motion to table.
Second that motion.
Motion, Mr. Casanova, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Item has been tabled.
If you can, when you get a chance, pass the item down so she can have it.
The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, June 14, 2022. Item number 5, rezoning property from R1, One Family District to R33, Multiple Family District. Variance permit to allow residential use on the ground floor where residential uses are allowed above ground floor level. Allow street side setback of 13.6 feet where 15 feet are required. Allow 40 parking spaces where 45 parking spaces are required. And allow 8 feet high prefabricated concrete wall where 6 feet is the maximum height allowed along rear lot lines. Property is located at 840 and 860 Southeast 8th Avenue, Hialeah Zones R1, One Family District, located within the Area 3 of the Neighborhood Business District. Applicant, Manny Rose.
Name and address, please.
Manny Rose Architect. The office is at 18501 Pines Boulevard, Suite 342, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Thank you, sir.
And maybe she's the lady that from that application. The properties in this application are located on the west side of Southeast State Avenue, Lejeune Road, between Southeast State Place and Southeast Ninth Place, taking the whole short side of the block. The properties fall within Area 3 of the Neighborhood Business District overlay. The current land use of the property is medium density as granted by City of Hialeah Ordinance 2020-014. A declaration of restrictive covenants proffered by the applicant at the time of the land use change states the property, once rezoned to R3 zoning district with an associated NBD overlay district, will contain no greater than 20 units with a maximum height of 3 stories. At this time, the applicant is before the city with a proposal to develop the site with a new contemporary 3-story building, including 2 amenity spaces, plus 2 one-bedroom accessible units on the ground floor, and a mix of studios, 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom units on the 2nd and 3rd floor. The total number of proposed units is 20, including 2 studio, 14 one-bedroom units, and 4 2-bedroom units. 40 parking spaces will be provided on the ground floor. In order to maximize the separation from the building to the adjacent property to the west, the proposed building fronts Lejeune Road and is 35 feet away from the west property line. The parking is located at the rear. An 8 feet high wall is proposed at the west property line to protect the privacy of the adjacent home. To be able to develop the property as proposed, the applicant is requesting variances to allow residential use on the ground floor where residential uses are allowed above the ground floor level, allow 13.6 feet street side setbacks where 15 feet are required, allow 40 parking spaces where 45 parking spaces are required, and allow 8 feet high wall where 6 feet is the maximum allowed. The residential use on the ground floor shall be allowed since it serves to accommodate 2 accessible units, and the proposed amenity will provide the active space intended in the requirement of having commercial uses on the ground floor. The requested 13.6 feet street side setback on Southeast 8th Place and Southeast 9th Place shall also be allowed since it is just for the staircases and the main building is set back 21 feet from the street. The proposed 40 parking spaces will allow the allocation of 2 parking spaces for each unit, or management may allocate 1 parking space to the studio and 1-bedroom unit, leaving 16 parking spaces open for guests or to be used for residents' additional cars. Therefore, the variance may be approved. The variance to allow a higher wall at the property line adjacent to the single-family homes shall be allowed since it will help protect the neighbor's privacy. The applicant is requesting rezoning from RO to R33 that should also be allowed since it will make land use and zoning consistent. The proposed building with its contemporary design and articulation will further the purpose of the NBD overlay of enhancing the city's main corridors and will provide an adequate buffer between Lejeune Road and the adjacent residential neighborhood. The recommendation is approved.
Thank you, Mrs. George. Manny?
Good evening, folks. We're here to present a beautiful building, something different in the area. A vacant piece of property that's been sitting there for a while. And we take a lot of pride in designing something spectacular and nice for the city of Hialeah. We've had many meetings with Deborah and other staff members, et cetera, and we feel very confident that this will be a tremendous enhancement to the area and as a beginning to start changing Lejeune Road into something spectacular. That's all I have to say.
Okay. No more mango trees?
No mango.
Any comments or questions from the board?
Not at all, sir.
Anyone in the audience have a comment or question?
You have it there in the screen.
Okay. Name and address, please.
Robert Gawanter, M&M Package Store, 794 Southeast 8th Street, Hialeah, Florida, 33010. I own the property across the street, and I've been at this chambers a couple of times, and I'm not a professional, but I kind of learned what you've been looking for, and to me, this project is the gold standard. This is the template. I think you should take this blueprints and keep them in Deborah's drawer. And when someone says, I would like to build an apartment, wait, use these blueprints.
I do that. I
You
do
had-
that.
You had asked, I was upset the last time I was here because you did not approve the work-live project. And you had asked, if the front of the building wasn't pedestrian friendly, it was entering from the rear. This project is pedestrian friendly, entering from the front. The traffic is not entering onto Lejeune Road, it's entering onto the side streets. The balconies were overlooking the neighbors, now they're overlooking Lejeune Road. There's a mix of 2-bedroom, 2-bath, family, couple, and a single. And to me, in Hialeah, the housing development is restricted. It's handcuffed by parking. They've worked a miracle here. They only use like a half a floor on the ground floor, and they squeezed in 16 spaces. Over half of the square footage is used for parking. This seems to be the magic formula for this area. 3 floors, and they managed to squeeze us in. They sacrificed significant square footage for landscaping in front and for 6 benches. There's a separate walkway from the sidewalk. The only thing I have against this project is it completely outclasses the entire neighborhood. It's like putting like a giant diamond ring on a withered old hand. It's dazzling. On the bottom floor, there's 2 ADA compliant apartments. And so the formula right now is roughly 2.0 parking spaces per unit. I would like to see a couple more ADA compliant apartments there, with the theory that these people may not need parking spaces because they may not be able to drive. But not only should we give our approval to this project, we should give our thanks for this project. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Manny, I have one question real quick. I see where you have that entrance, right where the address of the building is. Is that an actual entrance right there on the first,
The middle of the building.
the middle of it, where that person is walking right now? Is that an entrance to the building, or is the main entrance to the rear where the parking lot is?
You can enter through here.
Oh, that's the pedestrian entrance?
Yes.
Okay,
Vehicular entrance here. vehicular
Right.
entrance, pedestrian, and the flow of pedestrians in the front, of course.
okay. And just to both sides of that, that's just the back of the parking lot, and then with the 2 apartments at each end, right?
Yes, right here and right here. Yes.
So those 2 spaces there, they're just a facade.
Yes.
No, the 2 spaces are part of the amenities. They will have probably a
I mean,
gym
this
or a
space here and
lounge
this
or
space
something
here
like
are
that.
part of the amenities for the building, or for the, it could be used as an amenity for the building itself, or if somebody wants to have like a work lift thing there, live upstairs and work down here, it could be worked down.
Okay, and the entrance for those 2 spaces is,
Right here, and
Right.
it's a beautiful breezeway in the front.
Right.
Pedestrian, you can go in and go in and go in and go in.
right, but they have individual
Access.
entrances.
Yes.
Okay,
And then the good thing about it is that these 2 end units are private in itself. They don't mingle with the front of the building.
Right.
You can park right through here, come in and come into your unit. You can park right ADA compliant bingo and come in right in there. You don't have to mingle with the front.
ADA compliant bingo?
ADA bingo. When I say bingo, it's get in.
Okay. Listen, I like the redesign. I like the balconies facing the Lejeune Road and not have to be so intrusive to the rear, with the rest of the neighborhood is. I like that. Okay, I believe this young lady had a comment. Okay, we need to swear you in first. Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Name and address, please.
Hi, my name is Candy Hirsch. My address is 830 Southeast 8th Court. I am the backyard neighbor to this project. A year ago, we received a little card like this. I was at this podium a year ago, and we tried to get some modifications to the project that was taking place behind my yard, and the board didn't change one modification. They kept the structure right at 5 feet from my property line. They took down the house next to me to make a parking lot that would only accommodate 40 cars when 70 was required. And now the construction has been demolition and everything. And just the other day, they've broken water pipes. We had to turn the water off from City Hall. I'm calling to report it in. And the whole neighbor's really affected. They've been digging up trees along my property line and removing my palm trees with the other large trees that share the property line. So now they're destroying my property because the developer's coming in. They don't live there. I do. I made a police report, and I think sometimes it just falls on deaf ears that the people that are there, nobody's really paying attention. And if Robert agrees that this is a really nice project, then I know he's studied it because he's been really involved. But I also need to let you know that in my library of documents, 1979 to 81, we had a comprehensive plan for the Southeast neighborhood. What happened to the master plan? We had the citizens participation plan from 1978. We've had all these community program and plans. And somehow what's happening now is a little project here and a developer comes and swallows up this land because the board has approved it and rezoned it and everything is okay. I don't know whose pockets were filled. I'm not going to accuse, but I just think that something's not right. Now a new developer comes in and wants to take the next house. Okay. House 810 on Lejeune Road is remaining there. Old man Victor still lives there with his neighbor being an alleyway and now this new development. Two houses, 820 and 840 were, no, 830. 820, 830 were sold. They were knocked down. Okay. Now the new developer is coming in and taking 840 and 860 the next. So now we're going down the street. If this is the program to go down the street and make it, let's do a plan. Let's not do Mickey Mouse little piece here and there, snaggle tooth. So there's a house and there's an apartment and there's a parking lot and there's a house and there's a trailer and there's this and there's a, no, something's got to be done to make a comprehensive look. If you want to beautify the city of Hialeah, make it the city of progress and have Lejeune Road be the entrance from the airport, then let's work together on this. Right now, I feel like you guys are just stepping all over me, okay? My home is there and it's getting destroyed. Already my coconut trees are gone. Already they've chopped off, I got pictures, they've just chopped off all the existing tree limbs that have been growing over the neighborhood and making shade. When the development starts and that parking lot is built with 40 spaces and 30 cars don't have a place to park, they're gonna be on my lawn, in my parking driveway. So
I have a
just-
question for you.
please look at the whole picture and let's do the block.
Okay, thank you. I unfortunately.
One more statement. I offered the,
Unfortunately, she.
am I over? I
she-
get 3 minutes?
Yeah, she
Oh, I'm
missed
sorry.
the, to start the clock, but real quickly, go ahead.
The thing was, I approached the developer for that one project that's at 810, no, 820 and 830 Southeast Lejeune Road with the entrance on 8th Court. And I offered for him to purchase my property to make a complete square instead of across and down and with a parking lot next to my house. He offered me $100,000. To me, that's the biggest insult in the world for my family's home. So like, let's get on the same page with this. Let's develop the whole block, make it look good, make a master plan.
Okay, okay.
That's all wish.
I have a question for you.
Tell me.
I'm having a blockage here of some sort.
Okay.
You said that your address was 8th Court.
830 Southeast 8th Court.
Okay,
My backyard touches the new project.
okay. Are you sure?
No, I don't.
This is on the west side of Lejeune. 8th Court is the east side of Lejeune. This does not touch your property.
Oh, that's on the liquor side of the street?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's why I'm, you know.
When she said eighth court, I said, wait a
That's
minute. I let
what,
her
you know,
talk because,
Okay, I'm
but,
happy.
So, you know,
yeah,
listen.
you're talking about the
I let
other
you-
way on the other
That's
side.
across the street.
Yes.
Yes,
I
ma'am. This is
capiche.
the
Yeah,
empty,
okay,
the empty
okay.
lot, but liquor store with all the mango trees.
Yeah.
So I'm saying, you know, coconut, palm trees and touching my,
Okay.
Yeah, that's
No.
a whole empty lot.
I'm
It's
on
gotta be a
Vicky
long reach.
Bakery, Southeast 8th Court.
you're behind
There's a-
the Tombstone, behind
Exactly.
and to the
Behind
south
the
a little bit.
Tombstone. Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah, you're
That's my block.
wrong side of the street.
So if development's going to happen, are we
Right,
going to
right,
do a
yeah.
comprehensive
Eighth Court.
plan?
That's why I looked at the map.
Are we going to
yeah.
look at the whole picture, make it nice,
Well,
both sides of the street?
We gotta get,
your comments are welcome.
Let's do a master
Fortunately
plan.
or unfortunately, they don't quite apply to you at this
Thank you.
point.
But
They do apply to the,
I received this because
Yes,
I'm in the neighborhood.
yes, they do apply to the radius
Okay.
because you're within the
Which is
500 feet.
impactful to me, yes.
Yeah, yes, but they don't necessarily, using your words, they don't necessarily touch your property.
I
it's
hear you.
okay.
Thank
So,
you.
It's all right.
Okay.
Anything else?
No,
Ah.
that'll be-
Anyone else want to make a comment?
They just arrived. I'm not sure. They might have a comment for this item.
What item are you here for?
Ask her about the address.
Yeah, that's first thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. ¿Jura usted que va a decir la verdad, solamente la verdad?
Claro que sí, si son las perjudicadas, ¿cómo no voy a decir la
Ok,
verdad?
bueno. Nombre y dirección.
775 Sao East 9TH Play, Alía 33010.
Wrong case.
775.
Sao East 9TH Play.
Wrong one.
33010.
Ok, no. Usted puede opinar.
Sí.
Puede opinar, pero diga. She's still on the.
Yeah.
Diga.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
Usted puede opinar, pero
Usted puede,
es
no,
decir,
usted
pero
puede
no le vamos a
opinar.
hacer caso a lo que diga.
No, 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 no.
Sí,
Usted
no, pero
puede opinar,
before-
pero. Like, ¿ah?
El item que estamos, perdón, Diego, el item que estamos, lo que estamos hablando, sí, seguro, de lo que estamos hablando es del área de Leyún en la parte west, la parte oeste,
La parte-
de este lado.
El frente, el
Ajá,
lote vacío.
el lote vacío completo. No tiene nada que ver con ustedes.
No,
No, no, no, no, no.
No.
Esto es del otro lado, el lote vacío completo de esquina.
el lote vacío al lado de la licorera.
Ajá. Al lado de donde
¿Cuál
está
es
la
su nombre?
licorería.
Al otro lado de la licorería.
Correcto, correcto.
Por
Pero
eso,
ustedes,
por eso le digo.
Sorry.
No, 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 no.
no,
Usted
no, no.
puede
el-
opinar, pero en realidad este proyecto no lo va a impactar a ustedes tanto.
Sorry, your Martinez is your last name. See, this
Yeah, this is the
adjacent
property
to the
right
property.
behind
Sí.
it.
Okay.
Se le
Está
manda
al
eso.
lado
por-
de su
Ok,
propiedad.
Sí.
Sí, esta es esa misma. Es el lote vacío que está al lado de su
Bueno,
propiedad.
No, no,
Sí,
no.
porque son
Sí.
dos terrenos vacíos que hay ahí. Parece que son dos. Sí,
Ok, ok.
Pero ustedes
Perdón,
dijeron que eran
perdón,
las 9.
Sí, pero son dos vacíos, que hay uno que da con la licorería.
Es que tiene. Iglesias, you have ninth place and ninth court, and they're like, yeah, I know, it's confusing.
No,
There-
that's southeast. That's the problem.
Yeah. Ok. Regresamos. Regresamos. un momento. Usted está detrás del lote vacío del lado de la licorera. Ok. Retiro lo que yo le dije. Por favor, empiece de nuevo.
Queremos saber, con respecto a ese problema, si le aprobaron los 3 pisos, porque en la próxima reunión, en la anterior reunión no se lo habían aprobado el tercer piso. Le había quedado un segundo piso. Cuando presentaron el proyecto de nuevo, eso se volvió a parar de nuevo todo. Queremos saber en qué quedó eso.
Déjeme que le responda. Cuando se aprobó la ordenanza donde cambiaron el
Yeah,
land
we
use,
have to translate that now.
sí, cuando se aprobó la ordenanza donde aprobaron el cambio land use, la condición era que cuando vinieran a rezonificar no podían tener más de 20 unidades y 3 pisos. Eso es lo que aprobó el Consejo.
No, el Consejo no aprobó 3 pisos, aprobó 2.
Le puedo mostrar la ordenanza y la
Oye, estuve aquí
ordenanza
en todas las
dice
reuniones.
la ordenanza dice 3 pisos.
Y el tercer piso no se lo llegaron a aprobar nunca jamás.
What I am saying is that when the ordinance for the land use got approved, there was a declaration of restrictions related to the approval, and we have a copy here, and it states that when they come for the rezoning, they cannot have more than 20 units, and 3 stories. That's what the council approved.
Cuando aquellos nos dijeron que era tercer piso, habían aprobado.
Que no habían aprobado el tercero, que era un segundo piso nada más.
Los documentos son los que valen y
Bueno,
los
nosotros
documentos
le decimos que
demuestran
hasta más,
3
cada
pisos.
15 días hay un señor a mi casa, Canoso, a enseñarme un plan y a molestarme por la noche.
Ok.
Que si un proyecto nuevo, que si esto, que si aquello, otro proyecto. Mire, este otro proyecto ahora va a ser 3, ahora va a ser 2. Un señor Canoso, no sé, tendrá
No,
que ver con-
let me explain you.
o con el que va a hacer la construcción.
Esa persona no tiene más nada que ver con esta propiedad. Se la vendió a otra persona. Esta persona tomó mucho cuidado en cómo diseñarla. Es un arquitecto que en la ciudad es
Sí, ok,
reconocido
estamos de
por
acuerdo con eso,
hacer,
pero el tercer
por hacer
piso
muy
se
bueno.
quedó que no
Está
se
bien,
aprobó.
le explico. El tercer piso
Can I
en los
just, can I
papeles.
just
sí,
interrupt? 'Cause
yes.
we should translate what he's saying for the
Okay, okay.
record.
Lo que él dice, what he's saying is that the third floor has never been approved. However, the ordinances and the related declaration of restrictions show that the condition for that approval was a maximum of 3 stories and 20 units. And that is what they are complying with. What I am trying to explain him is that he's mentioning the former owner that went to see him with many projects.
No,
I
ustedes no nos explicaron eso.
I want
En
to
ningún momento, disculpa que le
explain.
interrumpa.
Okay, let me translate. I want to explain them that well, I already said that there is a new owner with a new project, and this is what we have before us. And well, we have to rely on the documents.
De eso nos enteramos hoy.
Bueno, nosotros
Porque
tenemos
en la
que.
última reunión, todos los vecinos estuvieron aquí. Y como ninguno estuvo de acuerdo, no se aprobó
No
el
aprobaron
tercer
el tercer
piso,
piso.
no lo aprobaron.
Okay,
Y
let
se
me.
quedó pendiente para una aprobación.
Okay.
Permiso un momentico, déjame terminar.
Bueno, no, pero
Quedó pendiente para
tenemos
una
que,
aprobación.
tenemos que mantener el
Un
récord.
segundo piso.
Bueno,
Tenemos que mantener el récord traducido, por favor.
Déjeme explicarle. Hay un récord de esa reunión, que fue la segunda reunión del Consejo. Usted se lo puede pedir al City Clerk y escucharla y verificar lo que se dijo, pero los documentos, el récord no se cambia. El documento que resultó de esa reunión lo tenemos con nosotros y habla de los 3 pisos y de las 21 unidades. What I'm saying is that he is welcome to go to the city clerk's office and request the audio of the council meeting where they approve with the condition of 3-story and 20 units, and that's what the documents reflect, and we have to rely on
En
it.
el audio dice eso.
Sí.
Que está aprobado el tercer piso.
And
No se aprobó.
then he claims that the audio and the records were changed, so that it doesn't show
puede
that.
venir y solicitar una copia del
Eso
audio
fue
y,
después, entonces,
y
de la
escucharlo
reunión, de la
usted
última
mismo.
reunión.
No,
Porque
después
en la
de...
última reunión que se dio en esta sala, era el alcalde Carlos Hernández, donde estaba, y todos los vecinos estábamos aquí, y no se aprobó por votación de mayoría de concejales, no se aprobó el tercer piso.
Bueno,
Yo no estoy
Okay,
mintiendo, estoy
he's-
diciendo lo que es.
puede pedir los récords y escuchar usted
cambió
mismo
después, entonces.
la grabación
Ya.
y puede mirar los documentos y nosotros estamos basados en esos documentos y en esos récords. I'm
Okay,
telling him
he's
again-
claiming, he's claiming that in the last council meeting with the former mayor, that, that they were present and there was, many more of the neighbors that supposedly they agreed to a maximum of 2 stories. The record would show whether it's 2 or 3 stories, like you invited them to request a
I
record.
invite him to request the records and also for the records, the mayor, no mayor stays for the planning and
Right.
zoning part of the meeting, so. I
Well,
think
his claim, which I find it a little offensive, is that the records were changed afterwards, okay? La decisión, cuando se toma la decisión, se toma en público, no en privado. Si se toma una decisión aquí de 10 pisos, ¿ok? Y se aprueba, son 10 pisos. Si es de 2 pisos o 3 pisos, eso es lo que es. Después que se termine la reunión y se cierre el caso, no se puede cambiar los récords. I'm just telling them that whatever the application is, whatever the outcome was, whether it was for 1 story or 10 stories, okay, if it fits the zoning, if it fits the area, and if it is approved, okay, it is approved in public, not in private. It cannot be changed in private. So, mi recomendación a ustedes sería, ustedes están un poco dudosos de los procesos de cómo pidan el récord de audio y ahí lo verá.
Permiso un minutico. ¿Usted le puedo pedir la palabra un minutico y venir hacia aquí para enseñarle algo? Sí. No le moleste. No deja, ¿eh?
Maybe because maybe they call the ground floor and the two floors.
It's just basically,
So for the record, Planning and Zoning Board member Iglesias is showing the neighbors the project and explaining it in Spanish.
Pero esas son, mira, esas son puertas que hay ahí. Las dos propiedades que hay pegadas ahí tienen piscina las dos.
Espérate un
Eso le
segundito.
acaba la privacidad
Espérate un
completa a la
segundito, mira.
propiedad.
Un segundito. Deja que me explique un momentico, después hablamos. Okay.
Son balcones, son
Espérate un
balcones,
momentico.
señor, son balcones.
Estos son balcones. Ok, yo tengo piscina en mi casa. El vecino mío tiene piscina.
Los balcones no están.
¿Dónde está la privacidad de mi piscina?
Los balcones no van a estar al lado de tu
Hay
casa.
3 pisos, no son 2, son 3.
okay,
Uno de
okay,
parqueo y 2 de apartamento.
all right. He's asking, he is,
Mr. Chair, can Esmile at least put on the record what he just spoke about with the folks standing there, just so we.
yeah. Do you want to just translate and say that you explained to him that the balconies are facing Lejeune?
Yeah, I was
and-
just-
And towards the west is just an entrance corridor?
Yeah, for the records, on the west side, it's only an entrance to the apartment. That's what I was out there and letting them know and trying to explain how everything was going. That is a completely different blueprints in which they are in favor to not bothering their privacy at all. It's just a door to go in to the property. Lo que yo le dije ahora es que solamente lo que yo le estaba explicando a usted, solamente eso es una puerta para poder entrar al apartamento. No hay para sentarse, ahí no pueden poner una silla porque no hay espacio suficiente.
Es un
Para
pasillo.
poder,
It's
es
only a
solamente un
corridor.
pasillo
La
que
puerta
entra.
se abre.
Bueno.
La ventana hacia atrás.
Es la puerta del frente de cada apartamento.
No. Estamos hablando de la parte de atrás.
La parte de
La
atrás.
parte de atrás va a ser el frente del edificio. El frente
No.
va para el
Ok.
edificio.
No. Los balcones, a donde la persona puede disfrutar de su parte atrás del patio, es para Lejeune. No tiene nada que ver, por eso yo le estaba explicando a usted. Déjame explicarle otra vez para que usted vea.
No, yo te entendí perfecto.
Mira,
Ok.
mira, ahí tiene la,
Mira
mira,
para
ahí tiene
que
la
usted
foto,
vea
mira.
exactamente. No es que le
Manny,
quiero
you wanna
decir lo que es,
just hold up.
solamente es esta parte aquí que es de balcones, con las puertas grandes y eso solamente da para Lejeune. La persona no tiene nada acceso a la parte de atrás, en lo absoluto. Eso es solamente un parqueo que llega y sube a su propiedad. No hay acceso en lo absoluto para ustedes.
Ahí mismo está el muro de mi casa. El parqueo de los carros va a ser contra el muro de mi casa.
Okay.
Aquí, aquí las personas confunden el freno con el acelerador. Contra el muro, se jodió el muro, el carro dentro de la piscina.
Okay.
No hay separación ninguna de ese parqueo. La separación va a ser
Okay, you have, okay,
va a ser mi muro.
Mira, right here.
okay. He is complaining that he's concerned that that wall is going to be, not going to be strong enough and it's right next to his pool. And given the fact that how people drive here, they'll confuse the brake and the gas pedal and they'll go right through the wall into his pool. Okay, primero que nada, ese muro, esa pared, va a ser fuerte. Okay, si usted tiene una cerca, una pared, Un muro.
concreto.
Ok,
Bueno,
bueno.
él va a construir, the property owner will build a new
Ok,
wall, 8 feet wall.
ok.
There's two
Usted
walls,
tiene
your
un muro
wall and this one.
de usted. Ok, he has his own wall.
Yes.
El constructor va a construir una segunda pared en la propiedad de él.
8 feet tall. They are asking
8
as a
pies de
courtesy
alto.
to them, they are
Okay.
asking for a variance to build it taller.
8 pies para mantener la privacidad lo más posible. Así que usted va a tener 2 paredes. You're not going to have 2 walls. Your wall that you keep, the contractor's 8-foot wall to allow you to have some privacy. 2 walls.
Pero ¿de qué privacidad usted está hablando?
Ya la privacidad se refiere al primer momento que
Va
no
a
sea un
haber un
edificio de
tercer
3
piso de
pisos.
arriba,
Ok.
una puerta. la
Yo
que
me
se
baño
va
desnudo en
mirando.
mi piscina.
Señor, ¿usted quiere que le diga una cosa a usted?
Yo me baño desnudo en mi piscina.
¿Quiere? Ok.
Tengo un muro de 2 metros de alto.
¿Quiere que le diga una cosa a usted, señor? Perdone que yo lo voy a interrumpir. La privacidad. Usted si se baña desnudo en su piscina, usted está en público. Usted no
estoy en
tiene...
público.
Usted no tiene...
Estoy en público.
usted...
Es una propiedad,
Ah,
es una secta.
usted quiere privacidad,
Es un
tiene
muro
que...
de 2 metros de alto.
Usted quiere privacidad, tiene que construir la privacidad. If you go sunbathing in the nude,
Que brinque por el muro.
hang on.
Privacidad.
If you go sunbathing in the nude in your backyard, okay?
No, por lo que veo.
Señora, por favor.
Tranquilo, no hay problema. Nosotros vamos a poner un abogado. Gracias por todo.
Okay, well, recuérdese, no tiene...
Se aprobó el tercer piso. Se aprobó el
Ok,
segundo.
ok.
Todos están de acuerdo. Cambiaron la zonificación.
Okay,
Para echar a meter mi
Enough.
privacidad de mi
bien, bien. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Buenas noches. Buenas noches.
Siempre el pueblo es el que pierde.
Buenas noches. Okay, any more comments or questions? Okay. Anyone in the electronic audience have a comment or question? Yeah, it does. It does. And I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna argue that point. It does. Change is difficult to accept. But the only constant in life is change. Okay? So, any comments or questions from the board? We're closing the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Motion, Mr. Iglesias. Second, Mr. Casanova. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Item has been approved.
Thank you.
Manny? As you understand, as you see, it is a heated argument. He already threatened you with legal steps. So,
Not him. Not him, the city.
the city? Okay, well, just heads up. Okay, just if, I know for a fact that you will go the distance and try to appease the neighbors. Try to, get them to change their mind. This is not an exception. Follow through if you can, but it's a beautiful project.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Item number 6.
You
Variance,
need these or, I'm sorry, you need these? Oh, okay.
item number 6. Variance permit to allow 17 parking spaces where 25 parking spaces are required and allow 1.64-foot landscape buffer for a distance of 90 feet facing west 19th court, where 7 feet landscape buffer is required. Property to be developed as a fast food restaurant on an out parcel. Property located on 1950 West 49th Street, Hialeah Zone C3, Extended Liberal Commercial District. Applicant, Hugo Arso.
Go ahead and do your due diligence.
Good evening, everybody. Hugo Arza Law Offices at 701 Brickell Avenue. And after Ms. Storch does her presentation, I'll introduce a couple of
Thank
the
you.
folks we have with us.
The property in this application is the former Ramada Inn Hotel site located on the south side of West 49th Street, east of the Palmetto Expressway, across the street from the Westland Mall. It has approximately 4.9 acres of land and was developed originally as a hotel in the early 1970s with two four-story buildings, an amenity area, and surrounding surface parking. In 2020, the MBD overlay regulations were expanded to the site for the adapted reuse of the property as a mixed-use development with 252 multifamily units, 5,552 square feet of retail, and 0.45 acre out parcel located at the northeast corner of the site. At this time, the applicant is before the city with a proposal to develop the out parcel with a fast food cafe restaurant and is requesting a parking variance to allow 17 parking spaces where 25 parking spaces are required and a variance to allow 1.64 feet landscape buffer along West 19th Court for an approximate distance of 85 feet. The location of the site at an activity node across the street from a bank and at a 5-minute walk from the Miami-Dade College campus will encourage many customers to walk to the site, since from those mentioned locations, it is easier to walk than to drive and park. In addition, the residents of the 252 multifamily units will walk to the site and nearby residents may find it enticing to walk to the cafe. The business will also offer a drive-through service. These conditions will significantly reduce the parking demand. Accordingly, the parking variance should be approved. The landscape buffer reduction request is for the 85 feet located on the east side of the site between the parking and the sidewalk. A 1.64 feet separation between the parking and the sidewalk without a safety barrier in between is not a desirable condition. Since on the east side of the sidewalk there is a swale area with grass, it is recommended to the applicant to build a 3-foot decorative wall between the parking and the sidewalk or install bollards every 4 feet for safety purposes. In addition, an attractive ground cover landscape on the swale area shall be provided. The landscape buffer request may be approved if these conditions are met. It is important also to address the east-west crosswalk at West 19th Court, which shall be restriped for the safety of the pedestrian coming to the site from the east. Recommendation: approve with the condition that the safety barrier is provided between the parking lot and the sidewalk.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman. Hugo Arza, 701 Brickell Avenue, representing the applicant this evening. I'm joined by my colleague, Alessandria San Roman, as well as by our engineer, William Lotz, in person, and on the webcast, Nicole Suma of Panera. So I don't know how you follow that last hearing. So I'm gonna hopefully show you guys some pretty pictures from our presentation, because that was a pretty eventful item that you all had, and I think thankfully this one is a little bit more straightforward. We are proposing on an out parcel at the corner of 19th Court and West 49th Street, a Panera. And I suspect I won't have to explain much about what a Panera is, and I trust that all of you have been to a Panera before. But it's, you see a rendering on the screen, and I think it just by looking at that, I think we can all appreciate what a welcome addition it'll be to the residents of that area at a very busy corridor and intersection. Next slide. So here we have the aerial, the out parcel, and the Panera will go. You see where it kind of juts up at the top right-hand corner of the yellow outline at the corner of West 49th and West 19th Court. You may remember just to the west, the area that is not in yellow is a park. The city has a small park there. They've had it for some time. To the south of that, the buildings that you see there, that is the former Ramada Hotel, which this board and then ultimately the council approved the NBD overlay expansion that Ms. Storch was referencing in her recommendation from a previous approval. And that is actually going to receive its first tenant. So it's being repurposed and converted into residential units. It's not going to be a hotel anymore. It's going to be a rental, a multifamily rental. They will have their first residents moving in next week. So that project is moving along. You know, and they're excited. If you've driven by there, you've seen quite a bit of construction and work over the last, year or so. And so this next step here with this out parcel is the complement. You also may remember there's also some retail on the part fronting 49. So this out parcel is going to also complement the rest of that retail that was already approved by this board. In fact, an out parcel was approved when we did the plan, when we came in to do the expansion of the NBD for the 252 units and for that retail. Only reason we're here is for a couple of minor variances. Principally, we had dropped in. We didn't know the tenant at that time. We didn't know that it would be Panera. They were speaking to different folks. And so Panera's footprint is slightly larger. What we had shown was a roughly 2,500 square foot box, for lack of a better word. We had just kind of, you have to show something. The building for Panera is a little larger. And as a result of that, it impacts the buffer and the distance, the 19th court on one side, and some modest parking requirements that we're asking relief from. I want to thank Deborah for her thorough recommendation of approval, and to state now, and I'll try and remember at the end, we accept the one condition. We have no objection, and in fact, in speaking to our engineer, Panera is always very aggressive about providing very safe environment for their customers, especially where they're going to have seating areas and outdoor seating and the like. And so whether it's a little kind of knee-high wall or bollards, we'll work with staff to come up with something, but we accept that recommendation. Next slide. I think these are just some, the next slide, it should be some renderings of the current use of the property. And it really truly does kind of look like that at this point. I mean, they're about to move people in. So this is what it's looking at. It's obviously been completely gutted and then refurbished, and it's ready to move residents in starting in June. Next, and here you go, the minor non-use variances again for this location, and now we just kind of put in the Panera on the top right-hand corner where it goes. We have a better site plan a couple of slides down, so we can go to the next slide. I mean, I won't do justice if I try and explain Panera. Like I said, I trust that most, if not all of you, have probably set foot in one. I think it's exciting that the city gets something, new and different, and not another sort of. I love burgers and greasy burgers and fries, but I know that my wife at least is always encouraging me to go pick up a salad or a sandwich and try and eat something slightly healthier. I think that having that offering, for the community is fantastic, and obviously Panera has grown from a small bakery into a chain with 2,000 restaurants for a reason, and folks really appreciate having that. Next slide. Here's the still not at this scale, it's always hard to see site plans, but as you can see, so we kind of pushed the building in closer, so to the property in this orientation on the right there, and on the left, West 49th is on your left-hand side. So we're looking east. So east is up on this picture. We don't have an entrance on 49th. That's important. So we're not backing traffic up. We're not trying to stop and all of that. You come in on 19th Court, and then you come back in. And then when you come in, we have a drive-through, which is a welcome amenity. And I think part of the justification also for the variance, the ability to accommodate folks who won't have to park or just going to kind of be cycling through. The other justification for the parking variance is just right there as part of this very same project, you have 252 units. So, estimate, a couple hundred plus residents living right there, plus Miami-Dade College, plus some of the other residential buildings that are just to our south. Obviously there's heavy foot traffic in this area, and we fully anticipate that folks are going to utilize and come to this restaurant by foot, as well as, of course, by car. And when they come by car, they may be doing drive-through, not necessarily parking. So we think it's a modest request. We'd still be providing 17 spaces, for the use. Next, you lost me there. See, this is what happened when Deborah takes over the PowerPoint from Gisele's. No, next one.
This is the last one. Here.
I've discussed the project highlights, I think, just in general in my comments.
So
And this one,
Yeah, you were right.
yeah,
You're right.
This one's important because now we've got right. So the previous slide, yeah. So here you've got
right
renderings of the proposed Panera, and again, you can see sort of the quality of architecture, their style. I mean, this is just going to be very complementary to the area. And then I think the next slide gives you a flavor for what the inside looks like.
It's an artistic interpretation
yes,
because
yes.
it's not in
Right.
reality.
Yeah.
like
These
that.
are stylistic to what Paneras look like. I mean, there are always tweaks and nods. I am sure that after this evening, I have to make at least one joke, right? After this evening, I'm sure Panera is going to look to sell pastelitos and café cubano after having sat through,
They have to.
after having sat through the previous discussion where if they didn't speak Spanish, they were probably having a hard time following.
If they don't sell croquetas,
I
forget
know
it.
they're,
Forget it, man. They're done.
listen, I was around when they said Starbucks would never make it on West 49th Street.
It's always full.
It's always full.
It's always
So,
full.
yeah, yeah.
And this one over here, you got the university, you got Miami-Dade, you got, it's everything around.
Absolutely.
That place is gonna be
I think
great.
Hialeah shed its image as a place that will not
That way I don't have
support
to- wait.
national retailers
Yeah.
a long time ago. But
I don't have to live Hialeah now to go to Panera.
exactly.
Put it
Now
that
you
way.
don't have to leave Hialeah. And I promise no skinny dipping, Mr. Rubio. There's no skinny dipping on our property.
We were hoping for the skinny
Right,
dipping.
right. I'm sure you were. So I think that's our last slide. The request this evening is very, minimal. It's just the two variance requests because again, the site plan had been previously approved when we did the Ramada and the out parcel and the retail. All of that is coming online as of, next week. There will be residents and we're just tweaking for the exact now user who's been identified and obviously very excited to come into the community. Like I said, we're joined by their engineer in person. We have a representative from Panera on Zoom. And so if you have any questions, be happy to answer those questions. Otherwise, we would appreciate your favorable recommendation this evening.
I have two really, really quick and simple questions for you.
Okay.
Just slide on the screen right now.
Right.
This depicts your drive-through flow.
Correct.
Okay. Am I to understand that you drive in through the north side closest to 49th Street, drive in,
Make a
head,
right.
make a little left, go west a little bit, all within the property?
No.
They enter through the east. They go.
We enter on
north.
19th Court. So maybe go to the aerial. Well, I know we've lost.
Yeah,
Okay.
no,
Sorry.
I can go.
Because from what I see here, now, would you be using the main property's parking lot or
We come
parking
in
area?
through, that area.
Oh, so you
On
come in through
19th
the,
Court. Right.
you come in through the residential?
No, not through the. Do you have your phones?
Yeah, but that one picture kind of like threw me off.
The drive-through have nothing to do with the parking lot from the residential.
No, it's located on this
They
out
enter,
parcel.
the
Okay.
Panera will be here.
Right.
So
Okay.
they
Where
enter
would
here and
the-
the
I guess
drive-through
the
goes
overflow
around
be?
here.
Right,
Be on
and
the
then
street?
back this way.
Yes.
That was my question.
Back this way or they can
Oh,
go
okay,
this way, yeah.
so you come in through the side street,
Yes,
you make a real quick right heading towards 49th Street.
yes.
The front of the building, then you have your,
Then you turn.
if you see the row of cars, we're on the wrong
The row of
page.
cars is here.
We're on the wrong page. Let's bring that, this one right here. Go ahead and open it up, blow it up. Okay, so you see the row of cars in front, closest to 49th Street. It kind of like heads west a little bit and then south to the pickup window. That will be the queue of cars. Once you pick up your food and stuff, you just go up a little bit and then you make another left and you exit south, right? Exit east, right?
I believe that's right.
Okay.
If I'm looking at the orientation.
Yeah, that's because right here, it's kind of hard to see where the actual exit from the drive-through lane would be.
I don't know if that's.
Here you see. You have here the exit.
Right.
And here they have two spaces in cases that your order takes longer. They
Okay.
will indicate you to wait
Okay.
there.
Right.
If not, you come here to the common driveway. You look there again. And then you exit here, or if
Okay.
you want, you can continue if you're going
I think part of the
south, you
confusion is
continue
that
on the
this particular doesn't show that. So the one on the left, Deborah, shows the entrance a little bit better. I think the
one
confusion
here.
stems from how we enter
Yeah, the color
site.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, right
Right.
there, yeah.
So we enter basically in between those two,
Trees in the back.
right, on
Right.
19th. It's really not on the back, it's on the side.
Well, it's on the
Right,
side.
That's,
On the
that's,
side, yeah. So you come in there, you make a quick right, you
Correct.
go around the building, you pick up your food at the window, then you proceed a little bit, and then you can either go, what, just go straight through to the
You go
property
back
itself?
out, you go back out the same way you came in.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that was
So
it.
you make a left coming out of your
Right,
drive-through.
right. Yeah, I just, and of course, that is in the original, let's see here. Where are we? No, just right, the very first one, the one with the yellow outline.
The first one,
Right? Yeah, that
The
right there.
aerial.
that one.
Okay. And, yeah, and you are in that little protrusion.
Exactly.
That's where
Right,
you're.
That's where we are.
Okay,
And
okay.
to answer Board Member Enriquez's question, we
Yeah.
are not sort of queuing or doing the drive-through within the area that's serving the other retail or the residents.
Okay.
There's parking
Okay.
in many other places. I mean, the project.
That's-
This always had an out parcel. It was approved with an out parcel. Really, the wrinkle for this evening is that the building and the user required a slightly larger building, thus requiring the modest parking variance and the side landscape buffer variance.
You see what I'm, you see
we're
what I'm
still-
getting at? I'm just trying to avoid the excess traffic
Of course.
to, within the property, the next property though.
Correct. And
Okay.
so, and it's, part of one development.
Yeah, yeah.
Part of one owner, and so it'll be managed, obviously, accordingly. You said you had
Okay.
two questions. Was
That was,
two?
no, that was it.
That was it?
The first was the queuing,
Got it.
and the other one was to make sure that it was up in that little
Oh, the
upper.
second, yes,
Yeah.
yes, it is that little sort of protrusion.
Any more
Chair?
comments or questions?
Through the chair.
Please do.
I have a quick question. It says approve with condition that the safety barrier be provided between the parking lot and the sidewalk. Is that on the north side,
On the
east side?
east, on
It's
19th
on
floor.
the east
On the
side,
same
because they
east
have
side.
the parking lot and the sidewalk. And they are requesting, instead of a 7-foot landscape buffer, they are requiring 1 foot. So what I'm saying is build a low wall or put bollards every 4 feet. So if someone, like the other gentleman said, puts the gas pedal and goes forward, at least they won't kill someone walking in the.
Oh, I see. Very good.
Yeah, it's on the east side. It's on
Right.
19th floor.
And you
Okay.
agree with that?
Yes, I said it, and I said I'd try and remember to say it again. So this is my second time. I don't know that I'll remember a third time, but we do absolutely agree with the condition.
Third
We'll
time's
be
charm.
Happy to work with staff on that.
But we keep it in the record,
Yes,
that we will not change.
That would, yeah, because the records don't change.
right.
Any
I
more
don't-
comments or questions from the board?
No.
Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Okay, we have a young lady here again.
Ms. Hirsch, I know you don't live across the street from this project.
Oh,
Unless you live at Westland Mall, right?
that's right there next to that, what is it, that Don Quixote statue or the
Yes.
flamingo? Don Quixote? Okay, name and address, please.
Candy Hirsch, 830 Southeast 8th Court.
Go ahead.
My question is, I wanted to know what the numbers were when it comes to modest parking variance. I'd like to know what the variance he's requesting.
He's requesting a parking variance to allow 17 feet where 25 feet are required, but when you have mixed-use projects, for example, you will have here 252 units, you will have people living there that will walk to the place, you have Miami-Dade College, you have the Florida University.
25 are
So
required.
25 are required, and
17
17 will be
but
provided.
25 are
Yeah.
required. Well, because I know that he impacted my life by approving land next to my house for 40 parking spaces when 70 were required for the
I would urge
apartment.
the board to speak about it.
Yeah,
Correct.
yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I always worry about, no, I always worry
Understand that.
about them giving you permission for variances when it concerns parking. I've been a Panera member for at least 13, 14 years now, rewards member. I go all the time. And if it's just like Starbucks, you drive up, you order your meal, you sit down on the sofas and the chairs, and you stay for a while, you do some work. I mean, people are going to stay there, so I don't think there's adequate parking for the facility because it is like a mini library or a mini meeting session. And if you've been to Doral Panera, people come there and have interviews. There's always some business being conducted inside a Panera building. So you're going to need more parking spaces.
Thank you. All right, anyone else? Anyone in the electronic audience have a comment or question? Let me close this here and see. Is there anyone in the electronic audience? No? Closes the part of the public hearing. It's a pleasure of the board.
Motion to approve?
Second that motion
Motion,
with
Mr.
the conditions.
Thank
Motion.
you for
Of
remembering.
the-
I'm on the record.
All righty.
So motion, Mr. Jimenez, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
I know Mr. Ulloa put some conditions on you. Are those the
The
ones? who-
skinny dipping conditions, I'm thankful those did not make it on. Thank you all. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
When is that panera gonna be ready? That's fine. You don't have to get up.
Oh,
I'm
boy,
just-
that was a hard one to
Just
swallow.
Throw a number out there. I need as soon as possible.
23?
Okay. That's fine. I can wait.
Soon.
All right.
Anything like the Wawas? Yeah? I mean, the one in Hialeah Gardens is ready to open if it hasn't opened yet.
Not yet.
It's open? It opened? Okay, but the one in,
I'll pass along. the
Not
word
yet.
to-
I
there
was
are
there
clients. I'll
2
pass
days ago.
along. I'll tell them.
49th
Tell
Street.
you what, Mr. Perez, find me the location. Find me a
Oh,
good
okay.
location and I'll bring.
Well,
What-
there is one that at some point will start on the Pura Vida project. but
Yeah.
it's not
Hawawa
there.
is coming to
Yeah,
Florida?
yeah, right
There
in
you
the
go. So
corner.
You're getting one soon.
actually, they have the fuel tanks sitting there on top of the ground. I haven't seen it,
Pura Vida is doing the grand opening on the 13th.
but yeah, there's the one on Hialeah Garden. That's Hialeah Garden, right?
Yeah, Hialeah Gardens.
Vida.
west
Oh,
of
there's
the
two
Pal-
of them.
West of the Palmetto.
Pura
The,
Vida
the,
is
Wa-
on
the
16.
Wawa in Hialeah Gardens is probably a quarter mile from this Panera location.
Yes,
'Cause
yes,
It's just basically
yes,
on the
it's
other
just-
side of
just
the
west.
Palmetto, but in Hialeah
Yeah,
Gardens.
across from the Matter
Across from-
Academy,
but
what
that's-
used to be
That's
Thunder
not
Wheels.
considered Hialeah Garden. That's still Hialeah.
Well,
I think.
I
I
got
think.
I got the approval of the city of Hialeah Gardens. So
Oh, okay. Never
unless they
mind.
change the record after my approval,
Okay.
I'm gonna leave you with that.
That's across from Thunder Wheels. Remember those?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Actually, my son went to that school. Matter, the one across.
Well, Matter used to be
Yeah.
Thunder Wheels. Used to be BJ's.
Uh-huh.
Used to be BJ's. Okay,
All
moving on.
Item number 7, variance permit to allow interior east side setback of 2.83 feet and interior west side setback of 5.2 feet, where 10 feet are required. Allow front side setback of 3.66 feet at 30 feet in height and higher, where 12 feet are required along East Third Street, and allow pervious area of 10.40%, where 30% pervious area is the minimum required. Property located at 158 East Third Street and adjacent properties with folio numbers 04-3118-001-0510 and 04-3118-001-0490. Hialeah Zone, CBD, Central Business District. Applicant George Zevedo.
George Acevedo. You're authorized to speak on their behalf, right? Name and address, please.
Maria Eugenia Fernandez, 15552 Southwest 15th Street,
Salis.
Weston, Florida, 33326.
Okay, let me.
Having a little bit of technical difficulty here with it. You got it? Okay.
You have the drawings, no? The property in this application is located in the Hialeah Downtown Urban Center, includes 3 parcels and faces 2 streets, East Third Street and East Second Street. The 2 larger parcels are vacant and the smaller parcel is improved with a 2-story commercial building that will be demolished. The applicant is before the city with a proposal to redevelop the site as the corporate headquarters of La Colonia Medical Center. The proposed development includes a contemporary 5-story building with a parking garage and some surface parking. The building fronts East Second Street, where it has a pedestrian entrance and plaza. The parking garage faces East Third Street and is screened with curved mesh screens. To develop the site as proposed, the applicant is requesting a variance to allow 2.83 feet interior west side setback, where 5.2 feet are required, only on a minor portion of the westernmost property line where a storage room is located. Most of that west side complies with the required setback. The applicant is also requesting a variance on the massing requirement along East Third Street, where a 12 feet step back is required above 35 feet, and the applicant is proposing a continuous frontage. A variance on pervious area to allow 10.40% where 20% is required is also requested. The proposed corporate office with contemporary design will finally bring development to a site that has been vacant for more than 20 years, will complement other developments in the area, will help activate the surrounding area, and will hopefully provide employment opportunities to nearby residents. All variances are minor and will not impact any adjacent property. Therefore, the application shall be approved. Recommendation approved.
Thank you. Comments or questions?
Well, this would be the headquarters for La Colonia. They would be moving from their existing location to this new 5-story building with parking garage. And per Deborah recommended, request, we try to accomplish with a contemporary design for the building. And Mr. Acevedo is looking forward to build the project quite soon.
Can you zoom in this? Okay, I just want to give the public a
view,
just, a quick view of what it is that we're talking about. Nice building. There is another picture here.
That will be the rear. Yeah, the front. That's the front. With the plaza in the front.
I'm working backwards here.
No, it's good.
Good job.
I think each one of you have a copy, right?
Yes,
Close enough.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
That's why we didn't,
we have
we
it
didn't
here.
bring one.
I just
Yeah.
wanted to kind of like, let the audience.
Yeah, I recommend that for the council meeting, you bring USB so we can plug it in and
Okay, we
everyone
didn't
can
know.
see it. Yeah.
We have
With
next
the
time.
renderings, yeah.
Okay, perfect. We'll do that. Okay.
Any comments or questions from the board?
To the chair,
Please do.
it says the pervious area is going to be 10% less. Will
Yes.
that affect flooding or?
No, because they will have a drainage system inside, so it doesn't affect.
Okay.
Okay.
Is the current headquarters, is it the other Colonia building that's nearby that I saw in the pictures?
No, that's a clinic.
That's the clinic,
Yes.
okay.
We need to speak into the microphone, please.
The headquarters right now is on Pal Avenue in 25th, I believe, where the warehouses are.
Okay.
And he has developed that very nice, but he wants to go ahead and, he's been Hialeah guy for a long time.
Thank you.
Any more comments or questions? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience? No? Closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion?
Motion, Mr. Iglesias, second, Mr. Casanova. Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez? Yes. Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Real
Thank
quick
you.
question. How many stories is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
With parking.
A lot of room to look down on some other people's pools.
There are no pools there.
This is going to drag on for a while.
You got to throw that in, huh?
You got to throw that. Thank you. It's a beautiful building.
Item number 8, special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay for the retrofit of an existing commercial building with a proposed addition of 8 residential units on the second floor. Variance permit to allow 30.39 front side setback where 10 feet built to line are required, and allow surface parking facing East 41st Street where surface parking may not be located at the front of the building. Property located at A19 East 41st Street, Hialeah Zone C2, Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant, RMJL Investment LLC.
Name and address, please.
Upper Lago, 8950 Southwest 75th Street.
Thank you.
You have other pictures to show or only? You can display them.
9201 Southwest, 2230.
Which one?
Thank you. Yeah, yes. Go ahead and spread them out. Yeah.
Very nice.
Before I read my recommendation, you won't be happy at the end, but ultimately you will be happy. And I want to tell you that the project is very nice. But when we were analyzing it, we found certain things, so we will need to re-advertise. But we really appreciate this retrofit that you're planning to. So we are still going to read it into the records, but then we will need to withdraw it and re-advertise, because when we counted the parking, there was a discrepancy and you need a parking variance, a minor parking variance. Yeah, I will read it and you will understand.
So whatever comments you'll have, once she's done, please make sure you speak into the microphone so we record it. Thank
So
you.
the property in this application is located at the northwestern intersection of East 41st Street and East 8th Court. The intersection of East 8th Avenue and East 41st Street is an activity node that extends east almost up to East 9th Court. This is a very active commercial area in dire need of renewal. A new residential office development is coming up at 875 East 41st Street, and the subject property is before the city with a renewal proposal too. The property we are considering is a 10,432 square feet commercial building developed in 1974 on a 0.52 acre property. The two-story building fronts East 41st Street and has a rear parking lot with 37 parking stalls and a backout parking on East 41st Street. The applicant is before the city with a renewal proposal that includes adding 8 two-bedroom apartments on the second floor of the building and replacing the backout parking on East 41st Street with a 3-car parking lot and an open space area. To improve the site as proposed, the applicant is requesting a special use permit to allow the expansion of the MBD regulations, a variance to allow 30.30 feet front setback on East 41st Street where 10 feet build-to-line are required, and allow surface parking facing East 41st Street where surface parking may not be located at the front of the building. The submitted plans label the second bedroom on 6 of the proposed units as study rooms. However, dens and study rooms are considered as bedrooms for the purpose of parking calculations. Accordingly, the proposed apartments require 16 parking spaces plus 4 guest parking spaces, and the 6,000 square feet commercial uses on the ground floor require 30 parking spaces. The total parking requirement is then 50 parking spaces, from which 20% of the parking spaces required for the commercial uses may be provided on the street, meaning this, that 2 parking spaces may be provided on the street and will need to be built in accordance to the streets department requirements. Given that the site has 39 parking spaces or 41 parking spaces when adding the 2 on-street parking spaces, the parking requirement is not met. A variance to allow 41 parking spaces where 50 are required needs to be added to this petition. The recommendation is to withdraw the item and re-advertise with a parking variance. And we can re-advertise for the next meeting that will be in June 15th.
Okay. Do you understand that?
Yes, I do.
Okay. You have a comment or question on?
Absolutely. May I address the board?
Please.
Thank you. Thank you very much for being out here this evening. The reason why I'm here, Ronald has been in this property, I think, with his father for approximately 35 years. I'm sure Deborah knows that.
Very well.
That property's ugly. After the pandemic, which we all know what retailers went through, and Amazon and all the changes, they're going through a tough time. Business has been open for 30 years in Hialeah, went from 12,000 feet, 2 floors, more than 30, from 12,000 feet to 8,000 feet to now it's going to be a 3,000 foot store. Originally, we were doing one package with our processors, which was 2 new commercial tenants on the bottom, which we already have permits for. And we felt that based on the parking that we have, we can do 8 units upstairs. It was recommended by the city to separate the permits. And unfortunately, the owners have already done certain things, that to make the property look pretty. We've done the trees that were asked. We've done the changing. We reduced the parking in the front. Originally, it was 8 parkings in the front. Now we have 3 because they wanted a drop in certain things. But we felt that we had more than enough parking. Today, we find out at noon that the recommendation that was to have an approval were changed to a denial because of parking. It blew our minds. Blew our minds because we're the only property within probably 3 to 4 miles that has, forget 20, we have 40 parking spaces in a 10,000 square foot building. Nobody that was here today doing I think it was 40 units with, or 70 or 20 units with half the parkings that we have. But it's kind of like frustrating when you're on this side and you're paying your bills and you're pulling permits and to have now, we're supposed to be in this hearing last month for whatever reason, we're delayed for this month. Now we're being delayed for another month. It's frustrating when you're not behind the desk and you're on this side. I'm sure some of you have businesses and it's hard.
Let me explain you. Let me explain you something. Your plans are not the best plans. So the professional that is behind the plans is not reading the code correctly. So the problem is not on us. The problem is on the person that I have been with the person that runs your plan, trying to help her correct the plans many times, but that is not my duty. It should be your. First of all, it would be convenient that the engineer that is drawing those plans comes to see the city and that he opens the code and follows the recommendation, follows the requirement. We could today say yes, and then you will come with your construction plans and we will tell you there, you don't have the parking spaces, you will need to go back to a public hearing. So I think here you're losing 3 weeks, but at the end you are gaining. And also I recommend to you that go and talk to your professional and tell him to be more thorough in the plans, because those plans have many deficiencies, and even when you bring them to concurrence and site plan review, you will have problems. So don't blame us because we are not.
I am not here to blame.
Okay.
I agree with you in a certain way because my brother's a professional and he teaches me how to read plans, but the city has had these plans for 60 days and we find out today that they're incompetent. I think that's not right.
Well,
let me finish. Let me
explain you.
I let you finish. Okay. Thank you. So all I want to do, all we want is to provide to you what is required. It's not an addition. We're not going outside the footprint of the building. The building is there. It's ugly. We're trying to make ugly. We're trying to make it pretty. We're changing commercial use to apartments upstairs. It's going to be less parking. I believe that we have enough parking as it is. We need for the board to tell us what we need to comply. According to our statistics, my brothers and ourselves, 8 units requires 9 parkings. The plans where you were providing wanted 12 or 15 parkings. I don't know whether it's one on one bedroom.
It is a code. The code has the requirements.
I have the code.
So for 1 and 2 bedrooms, you need 2 parking spaces, and then you need a quarter of a parking space for each unit for guest parking. Those are the MBD regulations. And then for for the commercial portion, you need 1 parking space for each 200 square feet. So we made the calculations that your engineer should have made, and we counted what you have there, and it's not enough. So we cannot approve a variance that was not advertised. We need to advertise it and come again, read it here again, and then we will approve it because it's reasonable. You will also improve the street. So we know that it's an enhancement. I wish I could approve it today, but we found out this. And also, let me tell you, your plans have been here for 60 days, but we had to call the person that is running them many times to make corrections. And we process the applications like first come, first serve. And it's only one person writing the recommendations. And I get the plans with the time to analyze them 1 week before this hearing. So I am sorry for that, but we are a very big city with a small staff and things like that happen.
Thank you for clarifying there. 3 questions. One is, was there a change in the code with respect to, because according to what I pulled out is 1 bedroom is 1 parking.
You're reading the incorrect section. You should go and look at the section of the MBD. There are a lot of requirements in different places of the code. So it is the professional, the one that should read, and if it's not sure, call us, because we will direct you to the correct.
I would need it
yes,
because no,
to the correct.
we want to defend ourselves better than the professional.
Okay.
Deborah, can I ask one question, please? And this may clear up some. Am I to understand that the footprint of the building is not going to change? It's just going to be revamped. It's going to be updated, modernized, prettied up, lipstick on the pig type of thing, right?
More than lipstick.
No, and they are eliminating the backout parking that is
Okay.
really a bad condition.
No. Kudos to you. It
We
looks
want
good.
this
Looks good.
to be contagious and to have
We've
everyone
done
out there. The
everything.
shopping center across the street, the other shopping
Right.
center facing Lejeune. I know the area very well. I know that it's a disaster. I know
Yeah,
that
well,
lots
but-
of people go there, but we need to bring renewal, and you're bringing it.
Thank you.
That's right across from Molina's over there.
We
so.
gave you the trees, we gave you the trash enclosure, and we find a and I'm like,
Okay, my question. Are we to understand that, and please, open mind on this, okay? That you, for the most part, you're okay with this application, except there are some,
We didn't advertise a part of the variance that they need.
so it's
That's the
some,
main problem.
so basically it's just some housekeeping.
Yeah, and we are sending the ad to the newspaper tomorrow, and we already have the legal, and even though we don't have the plans yet, we included you, so we want you to come to the next meeting. But if we go forward and we approve it, then you will need to come back and start over because you will need a parking variance.
So think about that.
okay, she answered my second question.
Yeah,
Thank you.
think about that. Staff, it's okay with what you have. They're okay. It's just that it's just a little typo. Okay, it wasn't advertised properly. And you know how legal issues are. If they're not advertised properly, it's going to require you to come back anyway and start the process all over again. I feel that maybe table, or you said
No,
suspend.
we need to withdraw it because
Withdraw.
we need to advertise it again with the parking variance.
Do we have to pay the application again?
No.
It's just going to set you back another meeting. But guess what? If we go forth with it now, you're going to have to come back and possibly even pay for another application because you're asking for extra variances.
You need to make sure that your engineer makes the plans fine. If he doesn't know what code section he needs to read, he calls, he asks. You're welcome to come to my office, request an appointment. I will sit
do
with
that.
you. Let's do that. Come and I will show you everything.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah. Because I don't want also to have you here and then have trouble approving the plans. I
We're
want you to
putting-
go
we're-
straight and in 8 months have that like that.
We're already putting water in the trees that you wanted, so we want to make sure the apartments go in, which is
Okay.
needed in South Florida. I mean, it's needed.
It's
4-8.
Yes, 4-8.
4-8.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Hello? Hello?
Say that we have in the property more parking space that other business on the area.
Yeah.
Again, suggestion would be, you don't have to. By all means, you don't have to.
I'll listen to Deborah.
Yeah, by all means, you don't have to, but the suggestion will be withdraw this application. They'll re-advertise it with the proper variances, with the proper adjustments, with, cross the Ts, dot the Is type of thing, make it legal, and then come back when is it, the next?
June 15th.
So it's in 3 weeks. 4 weeks. Okay,
3 weeks. Yes.
thank you.
Okay?
Those 3 weeks are gonna fly like this, and you're gonna have everything straight away. If it's not, they're gonna set you back.
Is,
Send me an email.
are you good? You have any
Yes,
questions or
yes, sir.
comments? You good with that?
We'll go with it.
Okay. Any comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience? Okay, this is part of the public hearing, so we will, would this be an administrative withdrawal or what? Just withdrawal?
Yeah, so
Okay.
item number
So
8
the item
has
will be
been withdrawn.
withdrawn. And let's pass these over to,
No more ganga. La ganga todavía está ahí. ¿O la...
over there, las cuatro hermanas. Yeah.
Because I've been in, my father lives down the block at the very end by Pollo Tropical. And that place been around since I was a baby.
Yep.
Oye, y eso es Entrizal. It's a good place. Lo que hace falta es que sigan arreglando toda esa parte por ahí. Seguro. Tú verás, oye, 3 semanas se van rápido. You'll be good. Seguro.
No, it's a good
Tremendo
point.
parqueo y todo. You'll be good. Tú verás.
Okay, Deborah, would you contact them or will they?
Give them my business card already.
Okay, so let's play it safe. Right now, you're being served a notice that next meeting, okay? But nevertheless, talk to her, okay? Thank you.
Have a good night.
Whole business.
Okay. Miscellaneous items not requiring advertising. Item number 9, old business. Okay, no old business. Item number 10, new business.
Any new
But
business?
Two new businesses. One new business is that next month, the planning and zoning board meetings are not the same week as the council meetings because the second Tuesday is not the same as the second Wednesday. So
Okay.
It
happens.
What we are requesting you is if we can move everything 1 week, so now you will have 3 weeks in between. So instead of meeting on June 9, we will meet on June 15 and
Originally, we're supposed to meet June 8th and June 22nd. But we want to ask you guys if we could change it to June 15th and June 29th.
Do you think you can withstand the thought of going 3 weeks without visiting?
I don't know. I got to think about it. Anyway, you can count me off for that meeting, please.
So by changing that, we're
Count
gonna-
you out?
Yes.
You won't be here?
Europa.
Ooh.
So please, I'm sorry, but I got to say it ahead of time.
No, you know what? That's,
So,
You know.
which one?
The
15th?
yeah,
Okay,
we'll
so
be
I don't
here.
call you.
No,
Okay.
So by changing it,
Second that motion.
okay. He who motions pays.
so by changing it, we're gonna be right behind the council meeting.
exactly,
Yeah.
as we
You should-
usually
yeah.
do. Yeah.
That's how I
If-
remember.
If not, then we have a problem with the
Exactly.
advertisement because they don't have enough time.
Because the
and
council
everything.
meetings, aren't they the second and fourth?
The
Second
second,
and
fourth,
fourth.
but if you look at the calendar, you will see that the second Wednesday is not the same week at as the second Tuesday.
Yes, you're right.
So
Okay.
that is one thing. The other thing is that we need to move the meetings in September because the council wants to hold budget meetings the day that we have our meeting. So you know the date?
Well, originally, we're supposed to be the 14th and the 28th, but we need to change it to the 7th and the 21st.
7 and 21st in September.
So then that, we're not gonna be behind the council
No,
meetings.
because
Okay.
they have budget meetings right after. Okay.
So if you agree on both, we need a vote.
Motion to approve?
Second that motion.
So motion, Mr. Iglesias, second, Mr. Casanova. Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Casanova?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
All right, the meeting dates have been moved.
So if you have reservations for food and wine, change them.
Change them too.
Okay? Anything else?
Yeah, I'd like to make a comment.
Please do.
We had a young lady here today that she's she spoke very about her property, and she was very proud of her property, and I see things like this. We need to take our residents more into account on a lot of these things, and sometimes we don't hear them. I think we have to listen to them, and it hurts me because we have developers and attorneys. Everybody's coming in here to Hialeah. And maybe I'm wrong. It just seems like everybody's trying to develop all these little apartments, like this gentleman here that just came right now. They're going to develop little apartments. And I'm seeing they're getting rid of efficiencies with more efficiency. I want to see a city that people are investing in. I want to see a city where people are going to live in. And I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that happening. I'm just seeing transient. It's what it's going to become. It's the Ramada Inn, for example. I looked at the Ramada Inn, and no offense to the developers of the Ramada Inn, What I did was get hotel rooms and painted them and fancied them up a little bit and put little kitchenettes in there. They're not really apartments. They're just hotel rooms where people could live in. When I saw this, I was like, you know, I understand maybe some school kid could live there or anything, but nowhere to raise a family, nowhere to really, you know, plant roots. I don't see anything like that actually encouraging development in our city. I just see that as, maybe I'm wrong, as a money grab. And I don't like it. I see our city being taken advantage of in a lot of these situations with these apartments, and it breaks my heart. And I know that Lazaro loves HUD housing. I understand that there's a need for it, but too much of it also brings down the city because we need people who are going to pay property taxes, all these other things to develop our cities. If you have a home in the city, you know, you want your home to have another home that's going to be nice next to it. That lady's going to have a building next to her house, which kind of, I understand the guy saying, oh, I skinny dip or whatever, we make fun of it already. But it is what it is. You know, that guy's going to lose all his privacy for sure. And nobody's going to like that. You wouldn't, you know, if you put yourself in his situation, nobody's going to like that. Eventually, what I'm seeing, we're developing all these apartments because, yeah, the need is now. But eventually, there's going to be so many apartments that are going to be empty here in Hialeah. Sooner or later, all they're going to be turned into are Airbnbs. And that's what I see coming. We're going to be a city of Airbnbs and HUD housing. And it saddens me. And I don't want to live in a city that's going to be Airbnbs instead of HUD housing. I want to have a city that's going to have family homes. I want programs that are going to encourage people to move into homes and buy homes. The governor just did a bunch of programs for, he signed a bill for firefighters, policemen. They're going to give them the down payments for the houses. They're going to give them the money for closing costs for firemen, policemen, nurses, doctors, everything. That's an opportunity for developers to come in and say, let's build houses so we could get the money from the state that's going to be offering this. I don't know if you guys heard about it. The state is going to give money to first responders to buy houses. Why don't we develop more houses in our areas instead of all these little apartments that I guarantee you soon will be all Airbnbs? Okay, what that guy just wants to build these little units, nobody's going to build a family in a unit like that. Okay, with, you know, you're going to have short parking. That's going to be somebody that's going to come in an Uber, go upstairs, live there for a couple of weeks, and move out. I don't like it. I understand the building where it's at right now is terrible, but we want to develop our city that's going to have people that are going to set roots and plant roots here. I put my roots here because I believed in the city. I bought a house here, and it's giving me second thought. Did I do the right decision? Am I in the right place? Is this where I want to be? In a city that's just going to be putting apartments and clinics out of our place, excuse me? Because that's how I see building here. Apartments and clinics. Thank God for the Panera Bread, because finally I'd love to see a Panera Bread here, because I was wondering, we're the 5th largest city, but we're the biggest joke. You tell a lot of people we live in Hialeah, people go, oh.
Well, I don't think.
I do. I see it a lot.
Well, I'm going to tell you my personal advice. My son just graduated from one of the best business school in the world, okay? And he put Daniel Iglesias, Hialeah.
Yeah.
He didn't put Miami. He says, Dad, I was born in Hialeah, and I'm proud to be a Hialeah. So maybe if you feel that way about Hialeah, you should move out.
I don't feel like
because
moving out.
I personally love Hialeah.
I do too. That's why I'm here.
Okay.
And that's why I bought.
And let me tell you, that Ramada right there in the corner, it helps a lot of kids because you got 2 colleges right around the corner that are going to need and they're going to use that Ramada.
I don't see that.
No?
I see Miami-Dade Community College. It's Miami-Dade Community College. I don't see them needing that much housing. It's a community college.
Do you know that place, when it was the Ramada, it was used illegally?
Oh, no, I know it was a terrible place,
No,
but I wouldn't.
for student apartments.
We're never going to see eye to eye, Ismaili. So
done.
I don't expect you to see eye to eye with me. You have a different view of the city as I do. I understand that you think that more developing is better. We're in a situation that right now, the average amount of police officers in the city is 2.5 for every 1,000 residents. Hialeah has 1.7 for every 1,000 residents. So there's shortage with everything.
I don't know where they have 2.5. I don't
That's
know
where
where they have
that's the
2.5.
statistic that I searched up. Maybe it's wrong. Maybe it's an old statistic. I'm not saying that there's a need for apartments. Yeah, there's a need for apartments now. But what happens when that need goes away? Why aren't we taking advantage of the bills that the state is offering for people to be encouraged to buy homes here? Okay? You know,
Okay.
whether you believe it or not, you go to the radio stations, people, you know, Hialeah is a joke, you know, in a lot of these cases.
But they all want to move here. They all want to
So,
move here,
I hope
or they,
so.
or they want
But
to,
not-
or they
not,
want to
you know,
develop
not
here.
Little efficiencies either.
Okay, they want to move here, or they want to develop here, or they want to make their businesses here. David, I have one legal question for you that I feel needs to be on the record. John, this may apply to you a little bit, just to, the gentleman with the privacy issue. Okay, his concern was that it was a two-story building. Now it's a three-story building, and the record was changed, blah, blah, blah. We know that that doesn't happen, but his concern is that he sunbathes, and I'm going to put it politically correct, he sunbathes in the buff in his backyard. He has a wall for privacy. Now, the developer is going to build yet a second higher wall, 8 foot high, for privacy. Am I wrong to believe that there is no expectation of privacy in public? Is that a law? Is that a fact?
I mean, another way of putting that is he has no right to the air.
Okay,
So-
that's, okay, that was my next question, okay? So, once he steps outside of his house, outside of his four walls, and he's out in his backyard, I understand that.
The thing is, there are different legal precepts with regard to your home. So for purposes of our Constitution, there's the Fourth Amendment. So even outside his home, by his pool and the curtilage that he owns, he still has that expectation of privacy insofar as a warrant, for example, would be required.
Correct.
But for a building to go up adjacent to his property, he doesn't have the right to the air.
Okay, so, and which is, I used that very same example a while back with, I believe it was with Javi on that project on 16th Avenue, just east of the Palmetto. Remember the one with the drainage that was, it was on here last night?
Yeah, that's the one.
The one with this university and.
Yeah, that's
it's,
the one with the site.
Right, okay.
The site, please.
Right,
Yes.
which, you know, they were concerned about, well, now they can see into my yard. Well, yeah, when I was working for Comcast and I was a line tech, okay, and I had my bucket truck and I could raise my boom all the way up there, I could see everything for, you know, houses and houses down the road. So if you were doing something in your backyard, hey, I could see it. Okay, so, and I just wanted to make sure that I didn't put my foot in it when I said, you know, there is no expectation of privacy. If the eyes can see it, hey, you know, you create your own privacy.
I mean, for purposes of land use, it's not, it's correct statement. It's just that, you know, he has no right to the air is a better way of putting it.
Okay.
Because within his home, he actually has that expectation of privacy. That's a different
Within the
legal
Correct.
concept. It's a police concept.
Correct. So that's what I wanted to, and again, I just wanted to, because I know that he mentioned, you know, his privacy and all of that, and I just wanted to make sure that his main concern was, you know, 2 stories, now it's 3 stories, now they're gonna look into me and,
No, obviously he has no right to the air, like you said.
Yeah,
It is
so-
what it is.
And also anyone can have a drone and fly it around the neighborhood.
Yeah, and one more thing, Mr. Iglesias, I'm not saying that, Mr. Iglesias,
Yes,
I
sir.
understand that your son is very proud of living in Hialeah, and I'm glad that he is, because I am too. You think that I'm not, but I am. That's why I want more houses. That's why I want less apartments. You think that what I'm saying is something to degrade Hialeah? I'm not. You're taking it the wrong way.
Oh,
I
the
want
thing-
this. I want the people that move into Hialeah to move in and set roots, to live here, like we have, like I have, like you have. You own a house here. I own a house here. We want more houses. Now we're gonna knock down these houses, the few that are left, and we're gonna build apartment buildings. Your son, hopefully your son will set roots here. Where? How? Just like the other, one time a contractor was here, said, oh, who's gonna pay $600,000 for a house in Hialeah? He said it, the contractor here, a few weeks, last time that we were here. I wasn't here last week, the week before last. Who's gonna pay for a house for $600,000? I will. You know why? Because I love Hialeah. And you too, you probably too, your house probably is worth that much now.
But listen,
And they make fun of it because his exact words was, who's going to pay? Where you guys were here, who's going to pay $600,000 in a house in Hialeah?
Okay.
And you know what they ended up doing with that house? They knocked it down and they're putting two.
Okay, but my concern is
still on the record?
when you start,
Yes.
okay, when you start as a young adult
Yes.
and you're starting after your career, I think it's very much impossible to buy a $400,000 home.
Oh, obviously.
600. So what is the correct, or I think it's the initial way to start your life in an apartment? Because you cannot buy a house once you get out and you got all those debts of college or university.
I totally understand that.
So
But
yes,
these
you want
apartments are a
houses,
place
but
where you
who's
set
going to
roots.
buy a house? A young adult, it is impossible
To the chair?
to buy.
I understand where
sorry.
you're coming from, but
It's-
that's what we
Miss-
need more programs here. So kids like your son, when he gets out of school, and everything, are able to buy houses that we could get grants or other instead of HUD for apartments. Why don't we do HUD housing for? Because there's programs for people to buy houses instead of renting apartments. There's things that you could assess with FEMA, not FEMA. Oh my God. First time home buyer association.
We are here for land
Yeah.
use and
I
zoning.
That's
understand
not
that we're
something that
land
we-
use,
Yeah,
But I would like
Yes.
to see more homes than apartments. And you're taking it the wrong way, where I'm saying that, when you hear the radio, people make jokes about Hialeah. They do, whether you want to believe it or not. And I don't want to move out of Hialeah. I never told you to move out of Hialeah. I don't think you should tell me to move out of Hialeah. Because I wouldn't come at you like that. You came at me a little bit hard. But I'm letting you know right now, I love my city. I'm here because I love it. I'm doing this because I love it, not because I need $150. When I vote no on something, it's because I believe in it. I want something better, not because I want.
And you are
something bad.
you are entitled to your vote.
You have your opinion. I have my opinion.
Yes, sir.
But I didn't come at you hard, and I expect you not to. And I don't want to come at hard you either. Okay.
Okay.
I know that you probably me and you we don't get along.
No,
And
no,
you-
no, no,
no,
not
no.
at
I
all.
could feel it with the last vote when we went at it. When you wanted Lazaro to be vice chair, I totally understand. Me and you, we're water and oil right now, and it's gonna be like that from now on because obviously there's tension between both of us, and it is what it is. Some people, without knowing people, don't like each other, and that's apparently what happened between me and you. You don't know me. You probably don't like me. It's fine. I don't need you to like me, and you don't need me to like you either. But let's work together. Let's make a better city,
Of course.
and let's do the best for our city and the people that sit here and come to this podiums and say, "Hey, I have a house. Please listen to me." Let's listen to them. That's what I'm saying. Because one day they're gonna build a skyscraper next to your house, and you're gonna come here and say, "Please listen to me," when you're not on this board, and you're gonna want people to listen to you too. That's what I'm saying. Let's listen to our people. Let's do the best decisions for our people. Let's do the best decisions for our city.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
Jimenez?
I was wondering if we conclude the meeting in the terms
Yes,
that
we
this
can.
is not relevant?
Yes, we
And maybe
can.
we could discuss this afterwards?
No.
So it's not on
No,
the
we
record?
cannot. No, we cannot, because as per the Florida Sunshine Law, okay, if we have something to discuss amongst ourselves, it needs to be amongst ourselves in a public forum, followed by the record. So I do appreciate your concern for wanting to close the meeting. We can, but anything that was brought up to the open right now is legal.
Even if it's not relevant?
Even if it's not relevant, it is a discussion, it is a debate between us. And we do need to have it on the record. So I do appreciate your offering and all that. And that being said, is there any comments or any questions that we? No.
I want you to understand that I'm here because I love my city, not because I want to leave. I want to be here. I want the best for the city. I want the best for the city. And what you do, we're working to do our city better. Let's do that. That's what we're working for.
Okay.
The same thing.
We agree on that.
Okay, now, as per Mr. Jimenez, your motion to close the meeting.
Yes.
Okay, we get a second. There you go.
Third that
So
motion.
that being said, meeting's adjourned.
Thank you. Thank you.
See where I'm at.
Ready then.
Or the sunshine law will get you